Cynthia Bauerly is the longest-serving Department of Revenue Commissioner in Minnesota's history, serving at the helm of the agency for nearly 6 years. I spoke with her this week, her last week on the job, and I asked her what she credits for the longevity of her leadership.
Well, I first just want to say what an honor and privilege it has been to serve as Revenue Commissioner for the state of Minnesota. And I think the reason that I stayed so long is because it's just an incredible place to be, an incredible place to work. My colleagues here are talented and dedicated public servants. My colleagues in the governor's office are dedicated to serving Minnesotans from all across the state of Minnesota and really focusing on those who haven't had the same opportunity. So with a great team around me, it was just really a privilege and an honor and a real pleasure to serve in this role.
Now, you replaced Myron Franz in 2015. He was the Commissioner of Revenue. He went over to Minnesota Management and Budget. The two of you have worked closely together over all of those years, and as you know, he recently left MMB to go to the University of Minnesota. Did his leaving impact your decision to leave in any way?
No, it didn't. I have worked closely with Myron, and that has been a real pleasure. And in the Dayton administration, I also had a chance to work with Jim Showalter. And so really actually loved the opportunity to get to work with Jim again. It's just coincidental that our timing happened to come at the same, in the same window, but it had nothing to do with my decision. And I know that Jim will continue to lead MMB in a great way for the state of Minnesota. And I know that my successor will also do a great job for Minnesota. And they will, and our agencies, Department of Revenue and MMB, always work closely together, just the nature of the roles, and that won't change.
And speaking of your successor is going to come into the job while the state, the nation, and the world are in the midst of a pandemic, which is affecting people's health, but also economies everywhere. What challenges do you foresee the new Revenue Commissioner having to face?
Well, I think, as we all know, the new Revenue Commissioner, along with the governor and lieutenant governor and the legislature, are going to be facing budget shortfalls. And so that's going to require a really important conversation about how to fill those gaps. And of course, there are a number of budget tools to do that. Raising revenue is certainly one of them. And so I think one of the primary roles of the next commissioner will be working with the governor and lieutenant governor to develop plans for how to balance that budget. Again, revenue will probably be a part of that conversation, as other budget tools are, and those are, of course, supported and developed by MMB. But that's a big part of the conversation. But I think also the next commissioner will also have to continue to support the agency and all of our employees who are working hard through this pandemic to continue to serve Minnesotans. That is going to present, ongoing opportunities really for changes. We're now using our audit room more than ever, so our auditors are not necessarily going into physical businesses, but they are working with their customers remotely, as everyone has moved to remote working wherever possible. And so I think those are going to be those are opportunities, frankly, for thinking about how we do our work, maybe in a new and a different way with our customers who are also facing new and different ways to do their work. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for the department to continue to evolve in its service and to continue to ensure that it is reaching out and working with customers who maybe haven't had the access to our tax system in the way that others have in Minnesota.
In a press release, Governor Walz called you a servant leader, and he said, quote, "Commissioner Bauerly sees the big picture, leads with her values, and prioritizes the needs of Minnesota children, families, and small businesses." You're talking about that a little bit in terms of reaching out to people who haven't necessarily had the same access as others before them. And I think that's been part of what's been important to you. What, generally speaking, are you most proud of?
Well, I think what I am most proud of is the collaborative culture that we have built at the Department of Revenue. And that culture is not only important to our employees, it is. We want to make sure that everyone is included and can feel like they can bring their whole selves to work. Because when we have that diversity of thought and idea and backgrounds, we make better decisions together. And it's also vitally important because that collaborative culture helps us serve our customers better. When we think of our customers, and I know folks have challenged me and when I talk about taxpayers as customers, because they think that it's isn't that sort of two-way connection, but it really is. Our tax code is not only about obligation, it's about opportunities. The working family credit, something that we have expanded twice in my time here as commissioner, important credit to help fight poverty, help bring families, give them more financial stability. Families who are struggling maybe with a couple of jobs but aren't being paid enough to really be stable in their finances. We have worked hard to get the provider tax not only extended but made permanent to ensure that we have health care for some of the most vulnerable in the state of Minnesota. And when I think about the work at the department, we have really focused on reaching out to communities. So we know we've always had a good relationship with the Bar Association and with the Minnesota Society of CPAs. We know how to reach them. We have regular communication with them. We appear at their conferences. There are many Minnesotans who don't have representation when they are thinking about their taxes. And so we've really tried to expand our outreach through VITA, our volunteer income tax sites. We've worked closely with community organizations, and we are continuing that work and really focusing on how we can build a more equitable system here in Minnesota, not only in our tax policy, but in our tax administration. And so those are some of the things that I'm really, really proud of having been able to be a part of here at the Department of Revenue. I believe the saying that people will remember how you made them feel more than what you did or said. And so I do hope that as I leave, all of my colleagues here at the Department of Revenue know how much I care about them and about the work that we do for Minnesota.
The bulk of your professional life has been in the political arena. Prior to positions in Minnesota state agencies, you were a member of the Federal Election Commission. Before that, you were legislative director for Senator Chuck Schumer of New York. So my last question, what's next?
Well, what's immediately next is a little bit of time off to consider what will be my next adventure. When you are in a role like this one that I have been giving 110% to, because that's what this job deserves and that's what the people of Minnesota deserve, you want to take some time and rejuvenate a little bit and then consider what's next. So that's my current plan. So I look forward to a little bit of relaxation. I understand that there are books out there that do not deal with taxes and organizational. I'm looking forward to reading some of those and just enjoying a little bit of this fall as I consider what's next.
Commissioner Bauerly, thank you so much and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.